I will break down this session in three parts. First, I will talk about what is dignity. So, the notion throughout history. Second, I will talk about what justifies human dignity after understanding what is dignity. And finally, the most important question, who cares? Because if there is dignity, there is someone who cares. That probably could be the most original part of this talk about this word, words, words. Sometimes we use words that we don't understand. Sometimes we want to say more than words can express. Certainly, words are fall short being what we carry in our heart. Sometimes we even don't find any word to express what we feel. And sometimes we don't need any word to express what we feel. But sometimes there are words with such an incredible power that we only intuit what is behind that word. That happens, for instance, with the word love, hope, faith, and with many other words which refer to the person, which is a mystery. And that happens also with the enigmatic word dignity, so used and so misused. We don't really understand what it conveys. Do we? I will say no. No, because it refers to the deepest traits of the human person, and the person is still a mystery for us. No, because the human being has such an incredible value that we cannot measure or assess that value in any way. No, because we still don't know well what even the notion of value is. Let's see, for example, this question. Do animals have dignity? There is an incredible discussion today, a debate with two extremists, and that's why it's very important to go throughout history to see what people say about animals. So let's see now this constitution of Switzerland. They say, well, the dignity of creation and security of man, animals, and environment. The dignity of animals. Incredible, no? 1999. The Constitution of Luxembourg. Once again, the dignity of sentient beings. And now in Mexico, you have also the sentient animals are recognized with the same status of human beings. And now, not only constitutions, but you have many other places in which the whole nature is recognized as a subject of law with a kind of special protection equal or similar to dignity. Many countries don't have the constitution, but the constitutional court will say no animals, sentient animals will have dignity. We will recognize from now on. That is very interesting. Is this a new thing that we are thinking about? Let's read, for example, Cicero, 1 century before Christ. I will read just this part. No? How vastly superior is man's nature to that of cattle and other animals. That is interesting because he is one of the first guys who used the word dignity just associated to the human being or in a deepest way in the human being. Because at that time, dignity was used for any position. The emperor will have dignity. The magistrates have dignities, but he will say no. Properly is the human being. And above them, well, animals don't have, or it's quite different, the value of one another. This shocked me a lot. I don't know if you know this song. Perhaps you have seen that in one day, like today or yesterday, the feast of saints or the soul for the purgatory. Domine non sum dignos. I'm not dignious. I don't have dignity. And who say that? Christianism. And you find also in Aquinas, and you even will read in the Summa Theologica about the dignity of many positions at that time. They will talk also about the dignity of sensitive soul. They will not say it's sentient, but sensitive soul. Well, that is interesting. The same thing that were in the Constitution was already written in Aquinas 8 centuries ago. That is interesting. Now, later, Immanuel Kant, he will change the things about dignity. This is a poet who wrote about the ideas of Kant. The poet is called Schiller, an old prisoner. Understand? I suffer all pains willingly. My way comes a wretched end. A sweet consolation is in my heart. I have done my duty, and that's why I have dignity. That is interesting. I have done my duty, and that is precisely Kant. He will put dignity just for the human being, and from Kant on, only the human being will have dignity. They will use the word dignity just for the human being, and that will reach, for example, the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, in which everyone recognizes the inherent dignity, inalienable dignity, and inalienable rights. Therefore, so that is interesting because, as you can see, the same word will have many meanings. And what is dignity in the end? Dignity is just the value. The value in the past of animals, of nature, of the positions of the king. But from Kant on, he will say, no, the human being has an incredible value because something, because he can obey his duty. That is very interesting. So, what justifies human dignity? The dignity is a value. Why are you so important? Is the question. Why are you so important? Why the human being is so important? Or you have the same importance of a cattle or a rat, perhaps some politicians could be. I don't know. So, what justifies dignity? And let me tell you one story of this incredible painting of Leonardo da Vinci called The Vitruvian Man. In this painting, Leonardo da Vinci was trying to find a perfect body. And there were two theories that the perfect body should follow the circle, which is the perfect figure, and could follow also the square, homo ad quadratum. And indeed, at the time there was an incredible question in this, like the questions of the Summa Theologica. There was a question about how will be the body of the human being in heaven. Will be like a circle because that is perfect. Probably we will be like we are now, but better. Yeah. But there was that question, and that was Leonardo da Vinci wanted to paint according to that circle or square balls. It didn't fit very well, as you can see. No, it's not a perfect place for each one. No, they are overlapping. So let's see this. Why? What justifies human dignity? Is it because, I don't know, we have hands? The hands will change the history of evolution, as you know. The sun, especially, can touch the finger, and that will create something. The hands of any species are not so flexible to do many things. People will say that the hands will change our brain. That is interesting. That is a chimpanzee. Hey, they cannot do all the things that we can do with our hands. Our hands are not that powerful. A chimpanzee can destroy you with their hands. We are not so powerful, but we can do more things. So, is the possibility of doing many things with our hands the base of dignity? Some people will say, yeah, that is one of the most important things in the human body. Or could be, I don't know, the brain, the mind that human being has, perhaps the intellect. I don't know if you remember this painting. This painting is very interesting because it's the creation of Adam. In the creation of Adam, God gives something. We don't know exactly what is the image of God. God gives something. And some people will say that is giving the intellect. And indeed, for some schools of art, what you see at your right here is the brain, giving the intellect. Everything is the brain according to one school. It's clear that the brain of the human being is the most important achievement of evolution. If you believe in evolution, is so well synchronized to memorize, flexible, much more than any other animal. So many people will put the reason of the human value there. Or in our heart, perhaps it's in our hearts. We can love. We can that. All you need is love. Absolutely. Beatles sing. So could be also, I don't know, that we have rules and we can obey them. That will be Immanuel Kant. That is the most important thing of dignity. He will say dignity is because we can put our own rules with our will and we can obey them. It's not just that we have the will, or perhaps because we can develop skills and be so strong, stronger than any Masai. Yeah, we can develop many things. That could be also the base of our dignity, the basis of the what justifies the value of the human being. So it means that many people won't have that value because they are not so strong, they are weak. For some people, dignity is precisely that dignity, the dignity of the king, the dignity of someone with power over others, crown, the dignity of the emperor. Is that the base of human dignity? Could be the justification of the dignity of someone, but not of the humankind. So, what justifies dignity? Is it because what we are, or is it because what we do? I don't know. We can do many things. We can win the Olympic race in the Olympic Games, and we will have the dignity of the winner, no? Or we can say that dignity is because what we have. No, if we have tons of money, we will be honored by everyone, or we have tons of friends or family, or tribe is the biggest one. We will have an incredible dignity. Everyone will bow before us. Sounds curious, especially in Africa, where yeah, because you are is different approach. Or the thing that we have, no? That is very interesting because Christianity is because we have grace, grace before the eyes of God. And that is the most important thing. We must die with that oil in our lamps that make shine us. That is very interesting. Grace. So in the end, it's not because we are, but because we have something, the grace of God. Is that the reason of dignity? Till now, just questions, as you can see, solving many things. It's very interesting to ask these kind of things because there are several solutions. The human it has that incommensurable value that we don't call value, but dignity. No, it's the value of the person. Probably all of them are related. Indeed, that document of the church distinguish at least four kinds of dignity: the ontological dignity, the existential dignity, the moral dignity. But I will say there are many others: the dignity of the human being, of the human nature, of the human body, of the human intellect, of the human brain, especially since the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. We have recognized that there is an ontological dignity that is not related to the thing that we do. Even if you're a criminal, you still have dignity. But at the same time, the moral dignity, your actions. You can be a criminal or you can be a saint. At least the saint is what you have. Grace, grace, grace. So we have said that dignity is a value, and a value justified on several things. An incommensurable value that we don't call value but dignity. You cannot measure them. And the document of the church is called Dignitas Infinita. Infinita, infinita. And that is very interesting because do you think that human beings really have an endless dignity, or is just a poetic way of saying things? Be aware that even St. Thomas Aquinas will say that the Holy Virgin doesn't have infinitas dignitas. She has quasi infinitas, almost infinite dignity. He's talking about obviously eh, different notions, senses of the word. That is tough. Now the last question. A value is something that we appreciate, that we estimate, that we want, that we consider that is good. So who considers that? Because the human will is not an infinite will. Infinite will is just God. So who cares? Who cares? There is no dignity without someone who cares. If we realize that some people have a dignity, we have to care, to do things for them, do according to what each one is. Who cares? Who cares about what we are? If nobody cares, you don't have dignity. There could be many possibilities. Who cares about the human dignity if we put the human dignity in our skills? Perhaps just some people, another will say, no, I'm better than this guy. So nobody will care. Who cares about the middle? Well, the people that love races, but there are people that love other things. They don't care. Who cares if you are the king of a small town in the other part of the world? Well, that's the people of that town, not the people in the world. Yes. Who cares about your money? There will be always another guy richer than you. So you will not have the same dignity. Many people, most of the people will have no dignity. Who cares about this? Perhaps only the people. Who cares about our body, our bones, our bones? Well, we use them, but we don't think that that is the base of dignity. No? That is interesting. I mean, we have an incredible bonds, I would say. All of them could be the reason of dignity. You always want to say, no, but my value is higher than the people expect. If you're working in a company, you will say, no, they don't care. I mean, I can do many other things. I'm more important. And that is true. That is true because the human person is always more. That is a philosopher, Leonardo Polo. It's always more. So that is true. You are worth more than any job that you are doing or they can point you for. So who cares? You will not have dignity. To live with nature? Most likely, no. No, because nature cannot understand you and cannot love you or animals, no? Perhaps this one wants to eat you. You will be worthy as a meal, as a fresh flesh. But who cares really about the other thing that you have? Perhaps your pet. Your pet really worries about you. But if you give food, if you don't give food, the pet will be not so keen to you. And they will not understand you. They can perhaps perceive something, but you cannot talk with your pets and they will understand and they will answer and will give you a piece of advice. It's impossible. So perhaps could be so different the answer. Who cares? This is very interesting. The phrase, who cares if you feel alone? Who cares if you are sick? Who cares if you are in trouble? We just care about ourselves. So ourselves, perhaps ourselves. Let me tell you the story of Jorge Valls Franco, who was in prison for 30 years in Cuba in the middle of communism because he was opposed to the thing that the dictator was doing there. He said that in prison he suffered so many things, torture, verbal, physical torture. And the only thing that helped him to don't do the same things with other prisoners was the sense of dignity. I'm not these guys. I will not do this. So yeah, could be interesting. At least we can care for ourselves. But will be just nothing. Could be also our friends. Our friends take care of us, at least emotionally. At the same time, you have some friends now. In 1 year, you will have different friends. When you reach the university or the profession, you will change all your friends. Perhaps you will change even your city. One or two friends will remain. I don't know which one. You can check who is around you now. But they cannot care about our entire life. It's impossible. It's impossible. They can't take care about two, three things about ourselves, two, three worries, and not more. Friends of the school will pass, friends of the university will pass. And everything will pass in this life. So friends is not possible. Perhaps our why, if we have. At the same time, you will realize that there are issues. There are problems in every relationship, in every human relationship. They don't understand everything. Each one is different. The person is a mystery. The same person is a mystery. So no one can understand another. They cannot care. Our family. This is a very interesting thing. No? Our family is in a different position. I would say, especially our mother. Our mothers, since we are very young, well, we don't realize who we are. They know, especially our mom, knows very well who we are. They have seen many other things that probably we don't remember from our childhood. The smiles when we were babies, they will keep that in mind more than ourselves. The way that we do things, they will appreciate normally so much more than we expect. And that's we feel at home with our parents. That's we feel so good with them. Yeah, and that is interesting, no? Our family is something very special here. If you don't have a good family, you don't have a self-esteem many times. You need someone that raises you up. We need someone that gives her the sense that we are worthy. The best place to find this is our family. Find the beautiful things of this world, no? We feel secure. We feel that you are treated with dignity, even without means, even in the poorest family, even in the worst place of the world, in the war. However, however, family will pass too. Normally, that is a law of life. We will die, but normally our parents will die first. So who cares? Who cares? And that is very interesting. No, nature, pets, bees, friends, family, mom, authorities, the state, the Americans, the Pope, ChatGPT, and McCarthy. Who cares? Who cares? Many answers. But who cares in our lives? It seems that no one is in a position to really cares. Does anyone really cares? Let's go back to this beautiful painting because, as I told you, one school was that this is the intellect, no? This is the intellect, but another school of art will say, no, it's not the intellect, it's not the brain. Look, two things. First, that Adam has a bottom belly, evil. Can you see? So it means that there is a uterus. This must be the uterus, and the green things is the umbilical cordon. So this what really cares. Who really cares? Were a father that is God. And that is the image of God, that we are children of God. That is the most important thing that we have. So I'm very proud of my body, or usually of my brain, my thumb, but more I'm proud of my bottom belly. Bottom belly could be the base of dignity because it links us not only with God the Father, but this is the 16th chapel in which Adam is in the middle of all the history of salvation. I don't know if you have ever been in the 16th chapel, and Adam is not alone. Adam is with so many people, and that bottom belly links him with the Trinity and with the whole human race, the whole humankind. It is wonderful. You have the beginning of the times and the close of the times in this place. It's wonderful, this place. I hope that one day you will be there or don't know very well that place if you were there. So who really cares? The conclusion, if there is no God that really cares about all the events of our lives from the very beginning, from our conception till the very end, till eternity, dignity doesn't exist. That is the deepest dignity. We have an incredible value. Everyone knows that human beings have an incredible value, but we need God. We need others. Without God and without others, there is no truly dignity. And the best example that today that we have to pray for the souls of the purgatory, we can put here is the purgatory and hell and heaven. In hell, nobody cares. There are many visions, and all of them they say, okay, nobody can see each other, nobody can see God, and they feel that nobody cares. We don't have dignity. And in heaven is absolutely the contrary. We are in the presence of God, and we are so happy because someone cares finally. Someone is just. Someone has mercy. Someone is love. Is love. Without love, there is no dignity. So how to increase our dignity? Loving others also. That is interesting. And that's the way of the soul of the purgatory. They don't reach God, but they are saved. They can see other souls into the purgatory. Not all of them, but most of them in the deep purgatory. They cannot see, but they understand that they are saved. The prayers can save others. So they understand that they have one dignity, dignity of the children of God, the eternal dignity that is a mission. So once again, the eternal dignity, infinite dignity is true as a mission. The infinite dignity is true when God exists, when love that is infinite, when we became another Christ. Then is the only possibility of having an infinite dignity. And that's why the best thing to increase our dignity is to become more and more like Christ. In this way, we will be loved more and more as the Son of the Father, of the eternal Father in the Trinity.